to…
Those who think women are not leaders are not married. People always ask me, who is your role model? I don't roll with any models. I can imagine my home without my father very easily, but I cannot imagine my life without my mother.
Sir, one of the other things that's been kind of bothering, I've been in the valley for the last 32 years, and
That's a wrong expression. You must say, I've been hitting the peaks.
One of the things that has not happened or happening at a very slow pace, right, is the woman leadership. And that's kind of a missing component. And this is something now, there is a big talk going on, especially with the Facebook CEO writing a book called The Lean In. And what are your thoughts around that? Is this something that, socially this is a challenging thing, or people are blocking it? What are your thoughts, and how should people overcome to…
Those who think women are not leaders are not married. Do you agree with me? So, I feel leadership should be free of gender. You don't look at a leader for being a man or a woman. You look at them for what qualities they exude. Why should you bother about what is within their clothes? Why are you concerned about that? That concern is only in one area of life. You should not have that concern with what is behind their clothes. Why is somebody a man or a woman when you see them as a leader? That should stop. That should completely stop. In places of work, that should be absent. That you just look at a human being for who they are. Why should you look at them always as a man or a woman? This itself is a certain prejudice. Oh, this is a woman leader, you have to support her. What? How can she be a leader? And anyway, it is just that the very fact that all of us exist, we came out of a woman, so naturally, biologically, she has a little larger responsibility than a man, okay? If you deliver a child, it's a 20-year project, okay? That is if they do well. If they don't do well, it's a lifelong project. So because of this in-between project that arises suddenly, generally a woman stays back, maybe in the business world a little bit, unless she is chosen to be otherwise. I'm saying naturally, I'm not saying this is how it should be. Naturally it is so. The fact that we all exist means some woman dedicated 15–20 years of their life to make us who we are, isn't it? Why are you underestimating that? Why are you downgrading that activity? Why are you not giving the credit for somebody who produced the leader?
Correct.
Isn't it? If you're valuing a leader, why are you not thinking about the person who produced the leader? Is there no value for that? Is there no quality involved in that? I must tell you this. People always ask me, who is your role model? I don't roll with any models. I say, I have no role model. I have no such thing. But who made you? Who made maximum impact on you? Not really, I never looked at it that way, but if I have to really look back and see who made the maximum impact, and it's continues to be a series of women. Starting from my great-grandmother, who lived to be 113, she lived very close to your village. She lived to be 113 years of age.
Wow.
And well, she never went and led any business or anything, But the big businessman that my great-grandfather was, she had him around her little finger. So the leader's leader,
Correct.
the leader's leader,
In the house.
maybe she chose to remain in the house, but do not underestimate the impact of that leadership. Any number of times this man in his adventure could have gone crazy and gotten lost. Those times, the person who held them back and encouraged them at the right moment, having a sane woman behind you. It's very important, I'm saying a sane one. She may be crazy about you, but she must be sane. This is the expectation of a man. You want her to be crazy about you, but you want her sane. But a lot of women fulfill that. And my own mother, she always lived as a housewife. You know, her life was simply dedicated to the 4 children that she had. And when I really look back and see, in one way, my life and the basic qualities of my life has been shaped by her, that is, never once did she ever utter, "What about me?" in her life, okay? It's simply there, it's her life is for us. We took it like it's 100% guaranteed and granted that her life is for us. And just that quality, that somebody never said, "What about me?" and she always remained joyful and peaceful and singing and, doing just what is needed. I think that is one of the biggest leadership qualities that I have exhibited and been appreciated by people, that I never thought about what about me. And it's essentially an inheritance from her if you really look back, because she created that atmosphere. She never spoke about leadership, about selflessness and this and that, no lectures anywhere, but that's how she lived. And how can you not imbibe it in some way? You cannot help it.
So, by the way, if any of you have any questions, please raise your hands. There are volunteers who have microphones, and feel free to ask any questions to…
No, right now what I said may be misunderstood and I may be in trouble with women in America. So let me clear
Clarify.
This does not mean a woman should remain within the house. I am just saying, because of a certain biological responsibility that she normally has, she can choose not to have it, but that she normally has, it sets her back by 15–20 years. So for her to start a race 20 years behind somebody is a little… she may not reach the same place the man reaches simply because of this, because you jumped the gun and started off the moment you had the opportunity, she is starting 20 years later. So that needs to be appreciated for sure.
But we do have leaders now, like if you look at the CEO of Yahoo, she delivered the baby and she was back at work in less than 2 weeks. So they're setting examples that, this is actually doable. It's not a, because of these biological issues, you don't need to…
It is doable, but at a cost that you may realize later. It is at a cost. Cost not for you, you may be capable of that, but the child may not be capable of that. Because I must tell you this, I don't know, I'm just making it very personal if it's okay with you. When we were children, my mother did everything in the house, cooking, cleaning, drapes, everything. She was always stitching up something. If we traveled somewhere and if there's an empty pillowcase in a hotel room or somewhere, she would say, "How can children sleep on an empty pillowcase?" And she would just pull out her needle and stitch one tiny little green parrot or one 4-petaled flower. Even now, it's so deeply in my mind, looking at the tiny little parrot like this, I would have fallen asleep many times. The tiny little parrot is not just a parrot. That expression makes you who you are. Today, those little things that I do, I don't do any great things to these people. Those little things that I do, they value it so much, this is just a multiplication of those little parrots that I saw on the pillowcase. Just for one night we were sleeping somewhere, but she would say, "How can children sleep on an empty pillowcase?" And she would stitch up one tiny little parrot. And do not underestimate these things. My father was a wonderful man, he was the one who brought all the resources to the home, But when I look back and see, I can imagine my home without my father very easily. But I cannot imagine my life without my mother. So, the values that we are setting need not… the value of success need not always be measured in terms of economics. It has to be measured in terms of life.
Very nice, very nice.